Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Lochie Hughes of J. Howard Driver Development. He'll, of course, be in USF 2000 next year. And, of course, this year competes in the F4 Championship here in the States. How's it going?
Very well. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk about, well, first off, for people that may not know you, kind of introduce yourself a little bit.
My name's Lochie Hughes. I'm from Australia. I've been racing since I was 10 years old. It's been a while now, but yeah, I've raced all around the world growing up. You know, obviously raced mainly in Australia, but always went to Europe and actually raced a lot in America. So yeah, I've always like a lot of the drivers in the paddock nowadays, and you know, I've raced against a lot of them and everything. So yeah. Been always been racing, and yeah, now made the trip to the USA to try to become an IndyCar driver.
For sure. What was it just like? You know, how'd you get into racing growing up in Australia?
That was a weird one actually. I got into racing because we went on a family holiday. I don't even remember when it was now, but years ago. And we went to Thailand because it's not too far away from Australia, obviously. And went to like the local like outdoor rental car track and everything. And of course, there's not really many rules over there. You can really do anything you want. So, you know, as a little kid, I got to go in the actually quite fast go-karts, and I just really liked it, just like driving. You know, I didn't come from a family of racers or anything, so I just like driving around and turning the steering wheel and just like feeling in control and the speed and everything. So yeah, and then I eventually, you know, holiday finished, went back to Australia, and I was just, you know, harassing my parents, trying to like convince them to let me do some sort of driving. And went to a actually local indoor kart track and met a guy there who was an up and coming. He was trying to race V8 supercars back home in Australia. And yeah, he helped me get into it, helped me buy a card, and really like it's his fault that I'm here today.
Yeah. And of course there's been a lot of drivers that came from Australia. You're obviously newest one, of course. You got of course someone that's had a lot of success in the road to Indy, or now the USF championships, or whatever the new name is called. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Of course, Hunter McElroy, of course, came from Australia.
Yeah.
Of course, Will Power is from there as well.
Yeah.
So what is that like to have some guys that, you know, have done this before?
Yeah, it's cool. Like I think we're in terms of racing, we're not like we actually got quite a big racing culture because we have V8 supercars back home, which is a massive championship. But you know, obviously, just in general, whenever we go to Europe or America or something, you know, we're a smaller. You know, there's not many of us, but everyone who always comes over is always extremely quick and always does well. Obviously, yeah, Will Power, he's a massive inspiration for me. Obviously, two-time IndyCar champion now, Indy 500 winner. You know, he's got the most poles in IndyCar. You know, he's extremely quick, and he's a fellow Queenslander as well, so he's from the same state as I am.
Nice.
Back home. So yeah, I always look up to Will, and yeah, there's obviously, you know, guys in the past who race like Ryan Briscoe, who was a big IndyCar driver, and yeah, like and of course, you know, you can't forget people like, you know, Mark Webber and Daniel Ricciardo, of course, gone the F1 way, but yeah, I grew up racing Daniel Ricciardo's go-kart, so I was actually the first person to get on a World Series karting podium for his go-kart, so that was you know, pretty cool. Yeah,
it was. Of course, going into USF 2000, this is obviously you're used to these kinds of cars. I mean, obviously the F4 is kind of, it's kind of similar, maybe,
yeah.
but these kinds of cars are, it's similar. But what do you expect going into this?
So I did one round of the USF 2000 this year at Mid Ohio and finished second in my first race. So it was short lived because we ended up like going, 2 pounds underweight, and I was disqualified from the race, but it didn't gain any performance or anything, so it's still second in my book. And the USF cars compared to the F4 cars are quite different. The F4 cars are a little bit slower. They're a little bit more lazy. The tires have actually got a little bit more grip, so it's just a little bit different. Where the USF 2000 cars, the Delaris chassis, it's sort of like feels lighter and more nimble. And it's just but the tires slide a bit more, and it just feels like a proper race car to drive. It's just good fun, just attacking with that car. Like I did a test at Road America, and like around there, it was so much fun to drive.
What tracks are you looking forward to? I know the USF 2000 schedule actually just got released.
Yeah.
So obviously one of the newest additions to the schedule is Sebring.
Yeah, I actually that's a track I haven't really been looking forward to, is Sebring, just because it's so bumpy. From what I've heard, so I've heard, we actually weren't able to do the full circuit in the past, so I know it's changed, but that when I heard that was coming to the calendar, that was, it wasn't like it was a surprise in a bad way, to be honest. I'm not scared of that track or anything, but it just it was a shock. But I've always wanted to drive around like St. Pete and Toronto. But I love the old school tracks like Mid Ohio and Road America. And of course IMS. I haven't driven IMS yet, so that is going to be a cool thing to experience. Driving over the Yard of Bricks and just driving around that place. So much history, and I can't wait.
Do you feel about going? Have you gone oval racing before?
No, I've never gone oval racing before. Actually,
and of course, you'll do that later at IRP. So, how exciting is that? I mean, you've never been oval racing before, which is a question I usually ask people that come into USF 2000 because, maybe they are not used to driving ovals like
no, you're
a lot of NASCAR guys are.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. Like, I'm just hoping I don't get motion sickness or something just from going round and round and round. But no, it's just it's going to be such a different experience for me. I've never, like I said, I've never done an oval in my life. It's not sort of the background I've been brought up racing. So I got no clue how I would go or what. So I just gotta do a lot of study and just send it, really. Just maybe watch, get some advice from some previous drivers and everything. But from what I've heard, it's Lucas Oil's not too difficult. It's a good learning track for drivers. So no, of course it's going to be a different step, but hopefully I can get my head around it and be pretty quick.
I think they've kind of gone. Yeah, I think it's Lucas Oil Raceway at IRP, or people are just calling it IRP again. So
I'm not too sure, but
they've actually gone back to a name change. I got a friend of mine that lives down there. So
right, okay,
yeah, well, it sounds good.
Yeah,
it's I've just known it as IRP. So there we go.
Yeah,
for sure. Hey, Lochie Hughes, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us for a few minutes. Best of luck this season. Let's have you on again sometime.
No worries. I'd love to. Thanks for having me.